WTF? Mr. Turkey. They breached the perimeter of the meme factory? Hang in there, I'll be right back. Oh, gobble, Mr. Turkey, we gotta stop meeting like this. Where are you coming, Mr. Turkey? Get behind me! Turkey, we gotta fly! Boop, boop. Oh, greetings, loves. It is I, Tactical Girlfriend. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's doing well. Today, I want to talk about GunTube. I want to talk about this channel, and I want to talk about what I'm doing with this channel. So, without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's start with a little bit of background and history about my channel specifically. So, what is Tactical Girlfriend? Well, it started out a long time ago with me just sharing some memes and some not so serious posts and, you know, a little bit of know-how here and there. On some social media platforms, I was ramping up what would ultimately become an outlet for disseminating information about firearms and particularly focus on creating videos for YouTube. And so fast forward to 4 years later, I've been doing that. I've got a huge slew of videos now. And you know what? It's not easy doing this work, I gotta say. I wanted to create a channel that was intended to make an alternative voice in this otherwise pretty stifling and monocultured AstroTurf space where I could create an inviting and welcoming environment for people to get information about firearms that didn't come with all the baggage of predominant gun culture. And this specifically was established to especially make space for people from marginalized backgrounds that don't feel welcome in other spaces. So I'm simply just trying to create an alternative here. And you know what? I would say that it's been pretty decent at doing that. It's not the best, it's not the most successful channel by any means. There's only about 60K subscribers now. And you know what? That's okay though. Regardless, I took this on kind of begrudgingly. I didn't exactly want to do all of this, but I saw a need. I saw a space to be filled, and I didn't see anyone else really doing this from my perspective at least. You know, there are many other great channels out there, don't get me wrong, but with the specific focus in what I wanted to talk about from the perspective that I have, I didn't really see that much. So I decided to take this on, and I'm not trying to sit here and gloat and brag about what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to say that it's been kind of a lonely venture. There's not other many kindred spirits on this channel space and YouTube, and yeah, it's not been easy. There's definitely exceptions to that, but as anyone would know about mainstream gun culture, that just simply isn't really what it's about. So now I'm going to actually get into the parts that I've been struggling with about YouTube specifically and my thoughts on YouTube. Now let's start talking about GunTube in particular and my thoughts on it. First and foremost, ever since starting this channel, I knew what I was getting into. I know what this space is about. I know what it's like. I know the characters in it. I know the people who fill it. I know what predominant gun culture is about, and I have an iron stomach for all of that. It really doesn't bother me. I don't like it, but it is what it is. And GunTube is a very, very toxic place. There are lots of egos, there are lots of people who are just completely delusional with machismo and all sorts of bigotry even. It's not a really inviting and nice place, but that's why I exist. This is why this channel exists. It's to create that space that really goes against the grain of the most toxic elements of GunTube. And it's been hard. It's not easy. Despite the fact that I don't actually get bothered by all sorts of remarks that I get because it's the same couple of phrases and terms that I've heard over and over again, I'm just completely inoculated at this point. But regardless, it's still annoying. It's still a lot to deal with. It's a lot to manage, a lot of communication with a lot of people who probably aren't always acting in good faith. And yeah, it's frankly exhausting. But again, I'm pretty unstoppable and that doesn't really deter me. I will say that on the positive end of things, GunTube is also, fortunately, filled with a few other people like me at least, a few other perspectives from a few other people who do go against the grain of mainstream gun culture, and I'm extremely grateful for that. There are some people putting out good content out there, like In Range, for example, who are not coming from the same place that a lot of these other people on GunTube are. And you know what? Regardless of ideology and politics and values and all of that, diversity is good. It's good to have an array of voices in a space like this, and I am extremely grateful for that. I'm also extremely grateful for all the cool people who have supported this channel and have followed me and done whatever they can to boost my signal here. So seriously, thank you for that. Now, toxic people on GunTube aside, probably an even larger gripe I have with GunTube is specifically the kind of content that really gets traction here. I know that YouTube is largely used for entertainment purposes, and that's fine. I can't fault anyone for going on here for entertainment, but that is what gets the most clicks, that's what gets the most traction, and that does certainly apply in GunTube. Gear reviews always are getting more views than any of my skill-based videos do. And that's really frustrating to me because I put a lot of work skilling up so that I can tell you about the skills and pass that knowledge along. Anyone can just take a look at some gear and say, I like it or I don't. That's easy. And yes, gear reviews have their place. It is important to understand what is good gear and what is bad gear and why certain gear might be good for you and why it may not be. You know, and I do like doing that when I can, but that is not the focus of this channel. It never has been. The entire focus of this channel has been almost exclusively to share knowledge. And so I've seen a lot of people really get way more excited about my gear reviews than they ever do about me actually telling them useful information. So it's unfortunate, but that is what it is. But I just need to say that gear does not replace training. You cannot buy your way into skill. It is so important to actually recognize that, and the more that I shoot, the better I get at shooting, the less I care about gear. I'm actually, honestly, I'm indifferent about guns at this point. Like, I don't care about builds, I don't care about hardware. I just want the thing to work, and as long as it's working, I'm probably going to be happy. I'm much more interested in just getting good in the art of shooting. And I would encourage folks to do that. I'm not anyone to tell you what to do with your time and your energy and money, but I've found it personally a lot more rewarding, and I have a feeling most people would too. So definitely try to work on your skills. Don't worry, don't sweat the details about what optic mount you're getting and, you know, what recoil spring you're putting in your Glock 17. I don't care. It's, you know, do your research. But what is interesting to me is seeing people actually excel and succeed in meeting their goals when it comes to personal growth. I think that's always going to be far more rewarding, and I would encourage folks to try to prioritize that at the very least. Another aspect of GunTube that I want to talk about is the algorithm. The algorithm is your enemy. Straight up, it is absolutely malicious. It is hostile. This is a hostile space, especially for people making firearms content based on the rules of YouTube itself. Google is a scary, evil corporation, and I don't really need to get more into that, but they also really control the kind of content and the way it's disseminated through here, so much so that it has been almost entirely my experience across the entire 4 years that I've had this channel that people will get randomly unsubscribed when they never did. People will not get notified about new videos even though they're subscribed. I have definitely noticed that myself when I'm subscribed to other channels. They're shadow banning us. They're absolutely hiding our content. They are removing subscribers, and it's, you know, an absolute stab in the back. This is not a friendly platform to make firearm content, pure and simple, and it sucks. And it's a really Sisyphusian task to constantly put out a video and then hope for traction, and then do it all over again and see that, you know, you're ultimately not really doing that great. That said, you know, my channel has been at a constant upward trajectory, but it's definitely hitting a cap here, and I do think the algorithm is a big part of that equation. It is a hostile space for us, and it sucks. I'm really up against a lot here, and it's very hard to get content out to folks like you by merit of even just simply having my content available openly on the internet, which just happens to be hosted on this channel that doesn't like me doing this. It makes me wonder why we're constantly putting ourselves through this. You know, it's sad that the alternatives for firearm content makers don't really ever get any traction, and, you know, I'm a part of that problem. I really haven't established myself on other platforms, but it's because I already know, before I even waste any time on that, that this is still going to be the place I get the most views. And this is the most accessible place for most people, and that's why I've been here for the last 4 years. But it ain't easy. And so with this channel in particular, again, I created this channel because there aren't that many like-minded folks around here making this kind of content. And so I saw that gap, I wanted to fill it, I wanted to see more people fill it. And yes, there are some other people doing really good work on here again, and I don't want to discount anything that they're doing. But still, it pales in comparison to what I wish it were. I would love to see more content creators actually creating stuff in this space or in other spaces. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be YouTube. YouTube sucks. GunTube sucks. We're up against a lot here. But I really want to see more people doing this work because it is very important. And I have seen the effect that I've had on numerous individuals and numerous communities. And people are very grateful for what I'm doing. And I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal here. I'm just one small voice in this space. And I would love to see more voices. I would love to see more people doing this. And so I encourage you, if you are motivated to actually go against all odds and create a channel here on YouTube. I mean, I'm not saying don't do that. It sucks. It is awful. I don't necessarily recommend it to anyone who is impatient or doesn't have the wherewithal to actually deal with all the bullshit that comes with this. But I will say, if it is your calling, I'm right behind you, and I support you 100% to do what I'm doing. And you know what? It's actually not that hard. It's really not that hard. I have a little bit of a higher production budget than a lot of people might. And so that's why I have my Patreon to help me actually meet the requirements to do what I do here. But it really doesn't have to be that hard. I mean, you can watch some videos that people are doing and they're clearly in their office on their phone filming themselves, and that's all you need. Everyone's got a camera phone, pretty much, I think, and you need to have a space to sit down or stand up and film yourself. And you know, you can get into fancier things like fancy cameras. This is all filmed on a Nikon Z6, FYI. I got 2 mini moles on either side for lighting. I got this background, I've got a Rode lavalier mic, and I've got a whole gimbal field mic set up for getting range footage and all of that. But ultimately, if you got a smartphone with a camera on it, that's literally all you need to make videos. And you probably already have that. And furthermore, just so you folks know, I edit all my videos on free video editing software. DaVinci Resolve is free. And so, yeah, there is some skills that you're gonna have to learn. You're gonna have to get some know-how here, but this channel started from nothing, and it has been entirely me just sharing my information, and now this channel has 60K subscribers, which is not huge, but considering what I'm up against and going against the grain of in this space, I would say it's pretty decent. I feel pretty accomplished, and I never really saw this channel getting as popular as it did, but here we are. Please, don't be shy. I really encourage folks to get involved, to do their thing, to share their stuff, to share their knowledge, because I don't know everything. I know this much. There's so many other things that could be said in the world of guns that I have absolutely not even touched on. So don't be shy. Again, create content, share it with your friends. It doesn't even have to be on YouTube. Create it on social media. Go to Twitter, go to Instagram, Facebook, or in your own Discord. I don't know. Hell, you know, just email stuff back and forth with other content creators. There's so many different ways you can go about this, but don't be shy. I just want to encourage folks to actually get their own voice out there and add to it. Because this is a group effort, and no one person should ever have to do any of this. Now, going back to my channel and where we're at right now, I just need to say that this channel has not been an easy thing to do. And I know I keep saying that, but I have sacrificed a lot of free time, a lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of my attention and energy has gone into this, and it's all for the sake of making free videos for y'all. And thankfully, the folks on Patreon who have been supporting this channel truly have been keeping it going. I literally could not justify running this channel at such a loss that I would be otherwise. So truly thank you if you are supporting this channel, especially through Patreon. And so with that said, I theoretically could make this my day job, not through Patreon. I don't have enough supporters to do that with, and that's okay. And furthermore, the economy is getting worse, and I do think a lot less people are able to support me on Patreon. And I think a lot of folks are also not able to continue supporting me on Patreon when they have in the past because things are getting hard. And that just is what it is. And so therefore, I don't think that this is a sustainable thing. It just simply isn't. And yeah, I could make this my day job if I did a lot of things that involved me selling out in ways that I wouldn't want to. I could run ads on this channel, which I refuse to. I don't want to give Google any ad revenue. I don't want to do any of that. And those are annoying. Who wants to see more annoying ads on YouTube? I was approached by Leviathan Group twice with a deal, and I turned it down both times. I absolutely will not compromise my values, my integrity, and the kind of content that I want to be putting out. And it's just not for me. I don't even think I necessarily would want to ever make this channel my full-time job. It's just been a fun passion project for me to do, but it takes a lot to keep it going. And so with all of that said, this channel and everything that I'm doing on it, it's been a great 4 years, and I do think I've done a pretty decent job at what I've been trying to do here. And I have met a lot of my own personal goals in this project, and with all of that said, it is not ultimately what I want to be doing with my life forever, and I do have a day job, and I need to refocus my priorities around that. I want to try to make more money so I can actually live more comfortably. I want to pursue my career more and build on that, and I want to focus more on the people who are immediately around me, and I just want to be online less. So with all of that said, I am taking a little bit of a step back from this channel. And so what is next for this channel in particular? Well, as far as YouTube goes, I'm going to be significantly, if not completely, ceasing uploads of videos on here. I'm going to take a big step back from this, and that's all right. It's a lot of work. It's hard. It's hard making these videos. It's very time consuming. If you are a video editor, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you probably have no idea. It takes days, sometimes weeks, to edit videos, and it's a lot of work. And moving forward, I'm not going to have that time. I'm not going to have the energy, I'm not going to have that wherewithal, and I don't want to. I want to do other things with my life, and that's perfectly fine. So what you can realistically expect here is that this may very well be the last video on YouTube for me. I might put up some competition footage here and there, and, you know, if we're all lucky, I can maybe scrape together a video or two here and there, sprinkled in, but not very likely. So realistically, there will be very little, if no more, content on this channel. That said, this channel is an archive. It's a repository of 4 years of my work that anyone can freely wander to and reference. Now, as far as my social media outlets go, I'm going to occasionally be posting still on there. If I have little tidbits of stuff that I want to share, I will do it when I feel appropriate and when I feel compelled to do so. But I'm going to be a lot less active on those as well. But I'll still be around. There will be occasional posts here and there. You can expect that. And that's a lot easier than making videos. So that's kind of the rationale for that. As far as Patreon goes, I will be shutting that down immediately after this video. And I obviously don't want to be taking people's money if I'm not making YouTube videos. That's why Patreon exists. So I, again, want to sincerely thank everybody on Patreon who has been supporting me. None of this would exist without you, truly. And so thanks for sticking it out for these 4 years. It's been really great. And I'm extremely lucky to have the support that I've had. And lastly, I'm going to be still hitting the range. I'm still going to be shooting guns. I'm probably going to be doing more of that, actually. And I'm just not going to be making content about it because I can actually focus on it. When I'm at the range and I'm trying to direct filmmaking and do all sorts of things for your sake, for you to view it, it takes a lot away from what I can actually do at the range. And instead of me focusing on my shooting, on my skill building, and just simply relaxing and having fun if I want to, I'm instead having to perform. I'm instead having to make sure that we're getting the footage that we want and to stage things right and choreograph things the way that we want to get that content to you, whether that's entertainment or actually just videos of me doing drills. Because even when I'm doing drills, there's a lot of direction that goes into making those videos. So yeah, I'm going to be really looking forward to that. I'm probably going to be doing even more competitive shooting. I might start to do USPSA, which has been a goal of mine. And I am looking forward to having that bandwidth opened up for me so I can pursue that more on my own terms. And so with all of that said, I just want to give you my thanks. This has been a wild and crazy and very fun last 4 years. I've had a lot of fun doing this stuff. You know, I've talked a lot about how hard it is and what a difficult thing it is to take on. And, you know, yeah, those things are true. But there's a reason I do it. There's a reason I've done this for 4 years. It's for you. And there's been a lot of really cool people that I met doing this project. There's been a lot of really great stories I've heard from other folks who have benefited from the material that I make. And that's really inspiring and motivating to me. And yeah, it's been really good to see at least some positive influence I've had out there. And you know, I'm not perfect, but I've been doing the best I can with what I got to work with, and I feel really good about it. And I really appreciate you being along for the ride. I want to really thank all of my supporters. First of all, of course, Patreon supporters. I, again, can't thank you enough for helping me actually sustainably build this channel out for the last 4 years. It's been a really good run. And, you know, for everyone who's ever interacted with this channel, who's commented, liked, subscribed, interacted with all my posts on social media, who have offered me words of encouragement, who have been there for me, and who have been very kind, and also for folks who are receptive to learning new things from this channel. again, this is why I do what I do, and I thank you for that opportunity. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, my absolute thanks goes out to every single one of you. So thank you. And so that rounds out my GunTube review. It's been a pleasure. And as always, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please be good to each other out there. And as always, please take care. Wait, I gotta take this thing off. Oh man, I can't believe you fell for that again. Anyway, free Palestine. Bye!